My name is Benjamin Samuel, and you don't know this yet, but you're going to be my friend. So, this is the very first video on this channel, and a little background about me is I used to be a pastry chef over in Texas somewhere, in some city, working for some company. Up until about 2 months ago, I was a pastry chef. And I said up to because about 2 months ago, they liquidated that position. And I want to come clean and say that I am not mad. I'm actually grateful. Grateful because, as most of you know, in 2020, which we are currently now in, it is around September 2020, and I still have a job, which is amazing. Amazing to say that. Amazing to say that I'm still with the company that I've been with for 5 years. And actually 5 years last month. And I still have a job. This is actually an old role that I used to fill with the said company. And I'm actually back in it. So it's not bad, but I need a creative outlet, which is why you're here. So, all that to say, today we're going to be talking about piping. And no, we're not talking about laying pipe, you pervs. Yes, kids, we are talking about laying pipe in the ground. So, we're actually talking about piping icing. So, most people start piping icing, they do the thing, they fill the bag, they go like this. And that's kind of not how you do it. You need to practice because it is a learned skill. And what you'll need for that is a board. You'll need some plastic wrap, a pen, a straight edge, icing bag, or a piping bag, and a piping tip. That's pretty much all you'll need, maybe a flat surface. But right now, I'm just going to cover the things that you'll need and how you need to put them together. So, a board. This is a regular board. You can use construction board that you pick up at Staples or Office Max, Office Depot, anything like that. Or you could get a plain old cardboard like I have here, one that came in the mail. Just ripped it up, carved off a piece, and drew some straight lines right here. You can kind of see that right there. Almost. Yeah, they're kind of visible. So you can draw 3 to 5. I have 6 here, depending on your mood of the day. You can draw 3 to 5 lines, and then cover that with plastic wrap. And you want to make it relatively tight so it doesn't move around. Mine's a little wrinkly. That's because I've been washing it. You can always scrape off the icing, put it back in your airtight container, which I have over here. It's out of screen. But you're going to wipe that off, wash it off, or just wipe it clean, and then start again. If you need tips or tricks on how to load a piping bag, we can create a video on that later, but this is a reused bag. I've probably used it about 5 times today, just practicing, because we all need to practice. And then this has been used about 3 times. If it starts to get soggy or old or rough around the edges, just throw it away, carve off a new one, wrap it up, draw some lines, then wrap it up, and then yeah, start piping again. These lines run this way. Not sure that you can see them. I can't see them because the light's kind of like shiny, but you're gonna have your piping bag like this. I'm a righty, so this is my right hand, and I hold it like this. So right hand to squeeze, so that's your dominant hand, and then your non-dominant hand you're gonna use to guide, and that's putting fingers right here on the tip, 1 or 2 or the whole hand, depending on your style. So we're just going to make shells, is what they're called. And how you do that, you always want to make sure first you have a clean tip, and normally people would tell you grab a rag and wipe it off, which we can do over here. Grab that rag and wipe the tip, make sure it's clean. For all you pervs gonna leave nasty comments, well, okay. Alright, so you want to go like this, and then pressure. So we're applying pressure, and your tip is almost touching the board, but just hovering over, and you're going to apply pressure and let off, and apply pressure and let off, and apply pressure and let off. So you're going to pressure, ease off, pressure, ease off. And I am scraping down like this, if you can see, like down, almost. So, pressure down, all the way to the length of the board, trying to stay on that line as best you can. So, this is just a star tip that I'm using. You can use straight edges or straight, they're called actually circle tips or round tips. You can use those to do this. It creates a different pattern. And then, so we already did the shells. Now we're going to be doing kind of like a swirl, more like a wave. So in opposite directions. So you start here, pressure, and swirl left, and scrape. And then you want to cover this. You always want to cover that tail. And swirl right, left, and right, and left, and right, and left. Pressure, off, pressure, off, pressure, off. Okay, so you can see that these are kind of like, okay. They're not great because I haven't practiced in years. But, pressure, off. And this you can do one this way, one that way. Kind of create a little weave going on. So, kind of the same as this, but a little different. Almost like the shells. Up. So you're starting up, and you're up and down. So it creates that little hump over, I guess. Always covering that tail. Woohoo! Look at that. Alright, so we got our little weave action here, our little waves and our shells. And then what else can we do? We can do a rosette. And that is actually, so it's getting harder to pipe due to the we have a smaller amount of icing in the bag. And that's getting harder to grip. I have bigger hands, you might have smaller hands, but you can work well with that. But depending on, you could just re-scrape this off, fill the bag and start over, or you just add more icing. So, with rosettes, I always go around to the left, so always swirling left, and then you pick a point start, squeeze, around, and stop. Now you really don't want this tail right here. Eventually you'll get good enough to where you can just go like that. There you go, here's a little rosette. It's cute, it's open, it's closed, you know, it works. So you can do that, and then you can load them on each other. And that you can create a line. Okay, and I have different ending points, but keep on practicing and yours will get straight. I'm not saying mine are ever going to get that way because, well, I don't practice that much on piping. But the more you do, the better you get. If you're doing a cupcake, you want to start, here's the top of your cupcake, you want to start in one place and go around, and then build on that. Do about three. Actually, my hands are warm, so this is getting hard to deal with. But start around, and you want to build on the structure. You really don't want this little Dairy Queen thing going on. My school instructor always said, we don't work at Dairy Queen, we make clean, non-ploopy tops. So you don't want to see that little curl, you just want to see the point. Alright, so this is going to be the shortest video ever, but we're almost at that 10-minute marker, and I need to sign off and say goodbye. But if y'all have questions, put them on the comment thingy, and we'll try to address them in the next video. Again, I'm Benjamin Samuel.